mileplan.com.
When the unexpected comes calling, bounce forward with Comcast Business. Bounce forward fast with internet speeds up to a gig. And bounce forward with the flexibility to update your bandwidth in just a few clicks. Get started with a reliable internet and voice solution from Comcast Business, starting at $64.90 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Call or go online today. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 35 megabits per second service and one voice line. Early termination fee applies. Equipment, installation, taxes, and fees extra and subject to change. Call for details.
Barrero back with you. And does your bank work hard for you, or is it just a place to store your money? When you switch to Truestone, you'll enjoy personal service, free perks including coin counting, financial education, contactless pay, rewards when using your debit or credit card. Plus, you'll earn more with their everyday great rates. Now, for a limited time, you'll enjoy great dividend rates of up to 2.02% APY with a $2,000 minimum in a true rate checking account. Let your money make more money at Truestone Financial. Visit TruestoneFinancial.org or stop by any of their convenient locations to learn how easy it is to become a member. Switch today. Truestone Financial is your neighborhood credit union.
APY equals annual percentage yield. Membership open to Twin Cities and St. Cloud residents. Balances over $20,000 earn a 0.10% APY. Conditions apply. Insured by NCUA.
If there's one thing everybody really needs right now, it's reliable home internet. But no one needs any of the hassles that usually come along with it. That's why T-Mobile is bringing you a new choice for high-speed home internet without annual service contracts or data caps. With T-Mobile home internet, you get a fast and reliable connection for just $50 a month with autopay, with no hidden fees and no price hikes. That's right, just $50 a month. That's all it takes for you to get back to work or school or your favorite show so you can do what you need to online. And get this, T-Mobile home internet is super simple to set up. You can have it up and running in minutes. Plus, we offer 24/7 live technical support so you can chat with a real person if you need anything. What are you waiting for, Minnesota? Get hassle-free home internet from T-Mobile today. Sign up at T-Mobile.com/home internet. That's T-Mobile.com/home internet.
During congestion, home internet customers may notice speeds lower than other customers due to data prioritization. Coverage is not available in all areas. Qualifying account and credit required. Sales tax and regulatory fees included in monthly price for eligible accounts. $5 more per month without autopay. See rep for details.
Fantasy Football Weekly with Paul Charchian. Saturday morning at 10 on Minnesota's home for football. FM 100.3 KFAN, The Fan. Vikings postgame coverage continues now with Vikings Overtime on FM 100.3 KFAN and the Fan Radio Network. Vikings Overtime is presented by Profile by Sanford, Comcast, and by TimberTech. Now with more postgame coverage of today's Vikings game, here's the Fans, Eric Nordquist, AJ Mansour, and Paul Lambert.
What's happening, sports fans? Your Minnesota Vikings lose 33-27. They fall to 6-8. Kirk Cousins threw 2 touchdowns and a pick, but Dalvin Cook ran for 132 and a touchdown, but they gave up 146 yards to David Montgomery and a touchdown. Boys, this game was kind of what we saw in the Gopher-Wisconsin game. Just kind of two bad teams going back and forth at one another. A lot of weird plays, a lot of weird 4th and 1s for your Minnesota Vikings. Just a lot of weird things happening, and then the Vikings lose 33-27, and here we are.
Yeah, it was 2 bad football teams fighting for a victory and some pride, and they did it in the way that you'd expect bad football teams to do it. It was ugly. It was unorganized. You're taking timeouts all over the place, first quarter, third quarter. Nobody had timeouts when they needed them. There weren't a ton of penalties, but it was, other than that, the rest of it was sloppy. Players didn't know what position they were supposed to be in. It was just a hot mess. Little defense, lots of points, so it's fun to watch. But at the same time, it was just 2 bad teams, and our team came out on the bottom end of it. Nordo?
They did, and they are bad. And this has kind of come full circle for me. Very excited, or at least 180, I should say. I tried to execute as much hope and optimism and faith as I could over the duration of the season. You start 1-5, you get a little hot after the bye. And this team just, even through those victories, it felt like they were just hanging on, and we've chronicled it week by week in overtime and day to day, 9 to noon, and on this station, is this team was winning, but it was ugly. We would see growths defensively, but then whether it was an injury or just people making massive mistakes, there's just a certain level of of incompetence, lack of experience, like a lot of things that aren't conducive to victories on the field. And today, really just the pinnacle of it, where a kicker was the focal point of the conversation throughout the week. He's the only one that felt like that was perfect today, which he was, 5 for 5 overall. And bad teams end games the way that they did. The defense forced one punt today,
and it was the first drive of the game.
That was that's horrid.
Yeah.
Mitchell Trubisky, you can make all the jokes about his inefficiencies, inadequacies during his time in the NFL. Man, they drafted him before they drafted Mahomes and Watson, all of this. He's now, I believe, 5-2 against the Vikings as a starter.
Well,
so,
yeah.
I mean, that's just we have trouble dealing with guys that were doing the things that he did today, and that's bootlegs, and it's just the mobility that he presented. No pass rush. Corner, we're on, Chris Jones. Who the hell is he? Mark Fields was active for this team today, I think. I mean, just the line after line after line through 15 weeks. We're where we should be, which is 6-8, and on the outside for good, probably looking in.
And one of the disappointing things, maybe the most disappointing thing, is we can make excuses for the injuries and the inexperience on this team that we see when mistakes happen in between the white lines on the football field. The most frustrating part, you guys, for a lot of fans, and it was on full display today, is the mistakes and seemingly the inadequacies or the bad decisions, let's call it, outside of the lines. I'm talking on the sidelines and the coaching staff up in the booth, on the sidelines. It was just weird offensive play calls. That's the number one thing that people are kind of griping about today. The running it up the gut when you don't have offensive linemen and you're playing against a really good defensive line. They're just getting manhandled. Pete and Ben were talking between every commercial break, Norda, you heard it, about how our offensive line just could not handle one-on-one matchups against the Chicago defensive line. Yeah. And then you try to run the ball straight up through it on 3rd and 1, on 4th and 1, on big situations. And it was just weird decisions, mismanagement of game management, again, with the weird timeouts, whether that's Zimmer's fault or not. Players in the wrong position may have led to that, but it was just sloppy, and it didn't leave you feeling good about just about anything. Maybe Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson obviously continues to showcase.
Yeah, the 27 points. If you score 27 points against the Bears at home, you should win that game 9 out of 10 times.
You should dominate them.
And
you left 4 points on the board with Irv's drop touchdown.
Ooh. So so you can't blame the offense in totality, maybe, but situationally, as you mentioned, those 4th down play calls. I mean, you take the guys off, you're gonna punt. And I think it was the Bears who may have called a timeout, which then was, now we're going to do it. But then they clearly don't know where the hell they're supposed to be.
Right.
And the big spot answer on 4th down against a defensive front as fast, as physical as they are, we're going to do, I think it was like out of the shotgun, some sort of counter run on a delay to Dalvin.
Right.
That was a disaster.
Yeah, that was horrible.
And so, you guys mentioned, I mean, when you have Dalvin Cook, you have to establish the run and you have to stay with it. But then what do you do with that? And as good as Kirk is off of play action, I was watching him doing a ton of just straight drop back stuff today. And he didn't have time.
Right.
And the interior of our O-line just blatantly isn't big and or strong enough to deal with the Akeem Hicks. They had some Jenkins cat, number 90, I think, that I've never heard of, but now he's kicking ass. Bilal Nichols had a sack and a half or something like that today. I mean, the same names were in the mix, but the same story as we get every single time we play this team. It's just out-muscled. And then defensively, I mean, I think the story for me, I remember 2018 was a win in week 17 against the Bears.
Who had nothing to play for.
Nothing to play for. They put 160-some rushing yards on us, and I think it was Jordan Howard who had a buck and change. And it was just shocking to watch the holes that Jordan Howard found and exploited throughout the day when we needed to win that game to get into the playoffs. And today was really week 15, but same mentality. And David Montgomery is not the greatest running back in the league. He's not explosive like Dalvin.
No.
He's not as strong as Derrick Henry, but the holes were there. And watching this guy,
6 yards on the ground,
career high,
and 2 touchdowns.
And yes, 3rd time in his career he's had 2 touchdowns in a game. So those sorts of things are just the product of not enough bodies in the mix. Kendrick's out. again, this defensive line, undersized and really under-talented. Just all of those things lead up to a bad football team that probably at this stage does not deserve to be in the playoffs.
No.
It's really disappointing.
Yeah, and we also watched this team too, and it looked like a lot of these guys, like it just looked like and I don't want to say unprepared because they're obviously prepared, but it looked like half of the time they would be out there on the field and it was like they were running at half speed. It looked like not a lot. Neither of those teams wanted to be out there. I mean, they're a long shot, both of them, to make the playoffs. I think I saw something where if whichever team lost, their percentage went down to like 4. I mean, the Vikings basically have to win out, and the Bears
everybody else has to
lose, right? Something
the Bears
like that.
and the Cardinals, I think.
Yeah.
Well, the Cards would have to lose at least 2 out of 3.
Right.
We'd have to win out.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that looks like. Splitting with the Bears, I don't know. I got to be honest. The only way that I saw the Vikings getting in was under the pretense of winning out.
Right.
So I haven't looked at all of the Hail Mary, style tiebreakers that need to take place.
And who cares? I mean,
right.
What is this team going to do?
They're going to get. I mean,
they're going to get crushed.
This game that's on right now, and you say what you want. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, but I mean, you'd play one of the wild card teams.
You'd play the
Saints.
Be
New Orleans, right?
Yeah. You'd play the Saints.
Get crushed.
And Charge challenge or not, this team is holding down one of the best offenses in football. Now, granted, they have 21 points or whatever, but Mahomes, I think, barely has 150 yards. They're doing everything they can. And AJ and I were watching it earlier. They get pressure right up the gut.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to do that all day on Friday against this team. And it's just weird, man, because this team starts 1-5, and we're going, all right, here we go. We're going to tank for Trevor. Then they rattle off and go 5-1. You're going, all right, cool. This is sweet. Let's go. Then they just flounder. That loss to Dallas sucked. I mean, we talked about it when it happened, but the Carolina game, it's one of those things where the play calling for Carolina is terrible, or they lose that game.
Yeah.
And it's just they look so bad against all these really mediocre teams, and their best win is against the Packers. That's the only 500 team they've beaten, correct?
Yeah, I suppose.
It's got to be, right? Because no one else is 500 that they've beat. Because everybody
Panthers
in the division
under,
is
Jags,
6-8 or worse.
Right.
Well, Bears technically just improved to 7-7.
7-7, so they're at 500.
So
there we go.
Technically,
they certainly were not 500 when we played them.
Correct.
Right.
So it's just one of those things, and Dalvin Cook is so good. Justin Jefferson is so good. But then you just look at it, and you were saying it, Nordo, some of these coaching decisions, they got that 4th and 1, and I don't know what the play was called. I'm not going to pretend I did, but Kirk Cousins rolls out and is like backpedaling.
Well, it looked like
a screen
on the play. It looked like they needed. So it was Dalvin to his right out of the shotgun, and then Conklin is out of the shotgun to his left. And it looks like the idea is Conklin comes across to that far side where Cousins rolls out, chips a guy, and then he's supposed to be open. Except it looks like they sniffed that thing out because they had
perfectly.
They had an open run on Kirk, and they had a guy covering Conklin.
Yeah.
And it was a disaster.
It was a disaster.
So, I mean, it almost kind of looks similar to a play that the Bears had run on us earlier with Cole Kmet early in the game. But, I mean, when this team's rolling offensively, things could not be better. But this offense and very few in the NFL could keep up with 33 points allowed.
No.
I mean, you got that cute little stretch there where it was 20 to the Lions. You held the Bears and Nick Foles to 13, I think. The Packers 22. But we've seen this. I mean, how many teams have put 30 plus on us at home this year? I mean, this team just doesn't play with energy at home.
No. And
it was a pulseless muzzle. And forget I shouldn't say never forget the fans, but as it pertains to this talker, the fans being there and not being there, I don't look at a Vikings home team with any pulse, any energy down there that's created on their own.
Correct.
Over the course of these games, we've watched them struggle with every single home game this year.
It's funny you bring that up, and I know it's college, and I know it's a completely different thing. But you watched the Alabama game last night, and there's some fans. I get that, but it's not a full house wherever they played. And I think it was Atlanta, wherever, it doesn't matter. But it wasn't a full house. But they have like 4 guys on the sidelines on every play that basically are there just to be like hype guys.
Right.
And it's college. I know it doesn't matter.
That'd
And
be
I
a
know
good job for you.
No, not currently. Give me an hour or two and I'll let you know. But the other thing, though, is they, as you said, and you guys are there, there's nothing. And I know college and pro are different. These guys are paid enough. They should be motivated on their own. But everything we saw today is just lackadaisical. They just, all right, we're going through the motions.
Yeah.
If we lose today, we probably don't have to play a playoff game. We can, and it's been weird for everybody. It's been weird for everything that everybody has done. But like, here we are, and they're 6-8, and probably either going to end up 7-9 or 6-10. That's probably going to be the end of this. Yeah. And then they got to play a Lions team that'll have nothing to play for 2 weeks from today, and that's all for nothing. So it was a rotten start at 1-5. All the weird injuries and all the stuff like that, just rotten to begin with. That's not Robert Woods.
Nope, that's not Robert Woods.
Okay.
But they got good field position.
Which is
can we address that elephant in the room?
Of course.
Have you yet?
No, not
okay,
really, no.
So we are also, we all have our phones up and we're watching both on one TV, the Saints and Chiefs game, and on the other TV or phone,
I'll
the
admit,
Jets
I'm not that emotionally
and the Rams.
invested in
You're not.
No.
Because
it's become an absolute slugfest. It wasn't going to be.
The Fantasy Charts Challenge coming down to the final week. It will either be Chris Hockey on a billboard for STDs, Meat Sauce on a billboard, or both of them. And right now, it is 177 for the Ghost, 176 for Paul,
me,
and 174
for Hockey.
For Chris Hockey. 1 point for every 10 yards. Chris Hockey has Robert Woods, who's putting up a huge game against the Jets,
who are trying to lose.
Right, and they just got the ball back in Jets territory. And then Meat Sauce has Tyreek Hill, who has had a decent game, but has not done anything in quite a while. So we're watching that game right now.
Tyreek Hill's
paying
done
close
nothing.
attention to Robert Woods and Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, so I hope they score here.
Kansas City keeps running the ball because they're ahead.
Right.
And the Rams are throwing the ball because they're behind.
Yeah, so that's where we're at. So that's why.
Do we know what the current score is?
177 that's the Ghost. 176 for Paul. 174 for Chris.
Right.
So right now it's a duo.
So they will likely, right now it's a duo. They'll likely both pass the Ghost. It's just who can get more.
Right.
Now, when this thing comes,
and they run it again.
When this thing comes to culmination, because this is much more interesting to me right now. Now that I say it, I'm not emotionally invested, but it's more interesting to me than talking about what the hell went wrong at US Bank Stadium today.
Right. Correct.
So, how do you guys decide what the ailment is?
That is up to the winners.
Yeah.
The winners get to basically design the billboard.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet.
So from photo choice to ailment, STD choice to the wordage and the verbiage, that is up to the winners.
And all infections are on the table, right?
Everything's on the table.
Yeah. And either way, it'll be who cares? It'll be funny. At this point, here we are because I'm probably going to lose because Tyreek Hill has gone cold, but I just don't want to spend the money at this point. It's going to cost me a good amount of money. I want Hockey to lose. I need the Rams to score a touchdown here without Robert Woods basically touching the ball.
And it looks like you'll both pass the Ghost, which means it will be one of you on the billboard. Footing the entire bill, not splitting it.
I mean, the problem here, though, is this might, the Jets are so bad. I was going to say this might be the last time the Jets have the ball. Or the Rams have the ball, excuse me, but
every time Goff drops back to pass, Paul stops talking.
So but anyhow,
just thought we'd let everybody know.
Fun. Yeah, it is what it is. It's out of my control. I had a really good pep talk with Corey and my gal, and who cares? I lose anyway. I made some of the worst picks ever. But if I lose by a point, I'm going to headbutt something. Anyhow, so
Justin Jefferson with 100 yards.
So can we? The other elephant in the room? Did he yell a swear at Kirk Cousins?
And now I heard throw the flag. Is what I heard.
I
but it is a thing on.
So is it Warren Sharp? Is that the gentleman's name?
Yeah, some football analytics guy.
Yeah,
he says he has a 10 or 11 second clip of video of the Vikings game when, if you remember, Kirk trying to get it to Justin at the back of the end zone.
Yeah, he went up with one hand
to grab it.
He could have got it with two hands, but whatever. Yep.
So he falls down, and you crank up the audio, and it's somebody, and I think it's Justin screaming the F word, and then he thinks it says F Kirk,
right?
Yeah,
throw me the ball.
That's what
or
everybody's
throw the
saying.
ball,
Yeah,
I should say.
Like maybe
But-
get it to him earlier. So,
But it sounded
Yeah.
like to me when I hear it, and you can check it out during
yeah,
the
I'll
break,
check it out.
that it says throw the flag.
The
Or
Jefferson
throw a-
looked upset with himself in that situation. Like he had an opportunity to make, because I remember thinking this, an opportunity to make a really big play, one-handed grab, statement, back of the end zone, that point in the game.
Yeah.
And he didn't come down with it. He got a decent hand on it, and it looked like if he would have had two, he could have maybe pulled it in. To me at the time, unbeknownst of no knowledge of this language or audio, it looked like he was mad at himself.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah, I don't know. But
I'd have to watch it back.
from the audio I read, I thought it was basically F, ref, throw a flag.
Yeah. And
Because I'm trying to think, like, I didn't see pass interference. Maybe there was like a hold, because that was a delayed play.
There could have
the
been
play.
some
The play was
contact.
elongated, and him and Irv Smith both came across the
Yeah.
end zone, and then Jefferson came back to the middle again.
Yep.
So maybe there's a flag in the hold on the route or something.
But ultimately, he went over 100 yards. He had 8 for 135 against him the first time. He had 8 and 104 today. And he passes Randy Moss.
Right.
How about
For
that,
the most
man?
catches in a rookie season in Vikings history.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's a big deal.
That's a huge
I mean,
deal.
right.
And like when it's 70, it was 70, right? He hit 70. I'm like, because we were all younger and we were just mesmerized by Randy. I'm like, I thought Randy had like 150 catches. It was like one of those things where you just thought that it was just a much bigger number than the 70 was.
Sure.
But man, we talked about it a little in the pregame. You get you trade away Stephon Diggs, who did not want to be here, who we basically were doing the show, what were they going to do with him? People know that that he doesn't want to be here. How are they going to move a guy that everyone knows is not going to want to be here? And you can rip Rick all you want. He got a first round pick for a guy that didn't want to be here.
Mm-hmm.
And they turned it into one of the best rookie wide receivers to play. Let's go. Let's go.
All right. Paul
Let's
just
go!
passed the ghost.
Let's go.
Tyreek Hill got about a 14-yard catch. That
Let's
means
go.
Paul is ahead of the ghost and 3 points ahead of Chris Hockey.
Let's go.
Do you get PPR or just
Wait, you're
yardage?
tied.
No,
You're tied.
I'm tied, which
You're
is
tied with
fine.
the ghost.
I'll play for another day.
All right.
I'll play for another day. Come on, Jets. You're the worst team in the league.
And the Rams just turned the ball over, and the Jets got a first down.
Yeah, the Jets got a first down,
So
and they got
it's coming up, Paulie.
so far.
Can I ask a
Sorry.
question on Justin
That's
Jefferson?
the most exercise I've gotten in a long time.
I
Go ahead,
heard
H.
Corey mention this, and let me know when you got to go to break. I'm sorry. Corey mentioned this with Ron, that he thinks that Justin Herbert should be offensive rookie of the year.
I agree with him.
You do agree?
Justin Herbert's a stud.
Okay, but
man.
here's the argument, and I saw somebody put this on Twitter. I apologize. I forget who it was. Essentially, the argument was Justin Herbert's having a good year for a rookie quarterback. Justin Jefferson is having a good year for a wide receiver, flat out, period. Not just rookie wide receivers, but flat out one of the best years in franchise history, in the league right now, across the board as far as receiving yards. Obviously, there's guys like Adam Thielen and Tyreek Hill who have like 15 touchdowns. But Jefferson is having not an all-time, but a best year in the league kind of a thing, where Herbert is having a good year for a rookie quarterback. Do you find any credence in that argument, Nordo?
I find credence to it, and biased, I want him to win it. I'm not going to be surprised if Herbert gets it, though. For me, it's nearly a coin flip, because there is that.
Mm-hmm.
He is a standout among all wide receivers, regardless of being a rookie. He's light on catches. His yards per reception, if I believe, or yards per target, yards per reception and yards per target, among the top 3 or 4 in the NFL. The yardage is certainly up there, although I think Diggs is running away with the total
Right
after the $147 he had the other day. So he's up there. But again, I think the difficulty of the position and what's against rookie QBs and circumstances would prop him up. And not to mention the fact they're both on bad teams.
Right.
Anything that we had in our minds about Justin Jefferson playing for a more talented team with potentially higher aspirations and a better opportunity at the postseason, you watch games like today, that doesn't matter anymore. So now you're just saying really good rookie season at the QB spot versus the wide receiver.
Sure.
And the weighted end of things feels like it would go to Herbert.
Did he start the year as a quarterback in LA?
No, because Tyrod got his lung punctured.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And because the whole talk all year is they had Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod is going to be the guy because they have this rookie who, at a lot of people, first down Jets. A lot of people thought that he needed a year. There were a lot of people that thought he was a system guy out of Oregon, and he was just a guy that they needed to kind of push along maybe a year or a year out. And here they are, and he gets in on a fluke, and they roll with him. And I would give him the rookie of the year because I think he's so good. And from a fantasy standpoint, the kid's an absolute stud. I need to catch my breath. Let's take a break. We'll come back. Your Minnesota Vikings lost 33-27. They fall to 6-8. They take on the Saints, who are in a barn burner right now with my Kansas City Chiefs. We'll come back. I need to maybe take a lap.
At home with Robert, retired burglar and family man.
Carolers, that's the holiday spirit. Speaking of which, Simply Safe Home Security is having a huge holiday sale. Right now, you can get 35% off a new system and a free camera at simplysafe.com/holiday. That's 35% off the system U.S. News named the best of 2020. Simply Safe protects your whole home 24/7 with monitoring by professionals. The sale ends soon, so go to simplysafe.com/holiday for 35% off and a free camera today.
Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year, automatically, dollar for dollar, with no limit on how much you can earn. Extra cash? Come on, how amazing is that? In fact, it's even more amazing when you realize all the places where Discover is accepted. 99% of places in the U.S. that take credit cards. So when it comes to Discover, get used to hearing yes more often. Learn more at discover.com/yes. 2020 Nielsen Report. Limitations apply.
When the unexpected comes calling, bounce forward with Comcast Business. Bounce forward fast with internet speeds up to a gig. And bounce forward with the flexibility to update your bandwidth in just a few clicks. Get started with a reliable internet and voice solution from Comcast Business, starting at $64.90 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Call or go online today. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 35 megabits per second service and 1 voice line. Early termination fee applies. Equipment, installation, taxes, and fees extra and subject to change. Call for details.
I don't know about you, Nordo, but I'm so glad that I made the move to a healthier lifestyle this year.
Oh, me too. After years of struggling with our weight, we both made the smart move to Profile by Sanford.
Yeah, the program is easy to follow, and the coaches are with you every step of the way to make sure you lose the weight and keep it off.
The results are amazing. There's no doubt about that. The only thing I wish is I would have done this sooner.
So you're saying that we shouldn't waste another day?
Brilliant.
Profile has 14 Minnesota locations. Go to profileplan.com and tell them that AJ and Nordo sent you. That's profileplan.com.
It's Paul Allen. Know what the legendary Purple People Eaters and TimberTech decking have in common? A dominating defense. TimberTech has the durability to hold up against Minnesota weather for decades. Not only will it not rot, warp, or splinter like conventional wood, it looks more like wood than any composite brand. And with up to a 50-year warranty, you're protected season after season. Start designing the deck you've always wanted at timbertech.com. Better tech, better deck. TimberTech, go against the grain.
I like a bed that's really firm.
I need something a little softer.
Rest easy. With the new Sleep Number 360 smart bed, you can both adjust your comfort with your Sleep Number setting.
Will it help with her snoring?
I snore.
Does Rudolph have a red nose?
Yes, it can be gently raised on either side to help relieve snoring.
So you can really promise better sleep.
Not promise, prove. Proven quality sleep is life-changing sleep. Don't miss our weekend special. Save 50% on the Sleep Number 360 limited edition smart bed plus special financing. Ends Monday. Special financing subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payments required. See store for details.
Barrero back with you, and losing your license because of a DWI can be a devastatingly low point. How do you regain your freedom to get back on the road, something that so many of us take for granted? There's a surefire answer. It starts with a phone call to Smart Start MN, where their uncommon ability to hook you up with Minnesota's Ignition Interlock program can get you back on the road. Why Smart Start? Well, how about this? They helped create this groundbreaking program in the first place. Local matter to you? Well, the folks who started Smart Start MN and continue to make it the go-to name in the field are one of us. Better yet, when you call, the voice answering will not be in some Caribbean island you've barely heard of. The phone will ring in Minneapolis, and the folks answering are carefully vetted and trained to answer your questions. Smart Start MN is owned by attorneys who helped craft and develop the Interlock program. You heard my guy Ron Rosenbaum vouch for these guys. Now, after learning more about them, I understand why. This is too important an issue to gamble on, my friends. Check out smartstartmn.com. That's smartstartmn.com.
Stay tuned and stay healthy. Minnesota is listening to The Fan. Your radio home for Vikings football. FM 100.3 KFAN. The Fan.
High formation, Kirk play action, whips it out to the left, and there's a record-setting catch by Justin Jefferson at the 47, turns it up, hit at the 50, stopped at the 49, a 25-yard grab and a first down, and that is a reception for Justin Jefferson, meaning he has the most receptions by a rookie in the history of Minnesota Vikings football, surpassing Randy Moss's record in 1998.
Welcome back to Vikings Overtime. Your Minnesota Vikings lose 33-27 to the Chicago Bears, who are 7-7, and they got a small chance, but a chance, to make the playoffs. But we had one of the biggest upsets in NFL history just happen. Not history. I mean, it's got to be up there, though, from this standpoint.
You're feeling good. You're feeling
good.
But
a 12 team, right? 13 team travels literally across the country and beats a 9-4 Rams team 23-20. But why do we care?
You need a deep bomb to Tyreek Hill.
I just need 3 yards.
We care, Paul, because now the Jaguars have the number 1 overall pick.
Why else do we care?
Oh, that's not why we care?
No. Well, that is true, though.
That is true.
They have the number 1 overall pick because the strength of schedule.
So why we care is that means that Chris Hockey has officially lost the Fantasy Charge Challenge despite a great effort by Robert Woods or Robert Brooks, depending on who you're asking.
That was the best.
That was awesome.
Literally the best ever.
So he comes up short of the Ghost. Now, we continue watching because presently Meat Sauce Paul Lambert is tied with the Ghost with 177 points. He has Tyreek Hill, who has 1 quarter and 3 minutes, 18 minutes of gameplay left to go. And all he needs from Tyreek Hill is 3 yards receiving to get that 4th point for yardage and to pass the Ghost, leaving Chris
or
alone
9 rushing
on the billboard, or 9 rushing yards. Could come either way. You're right.
Yeah.
But Kansas City is up by 6 points right now, and they're running the football a lot. So we'll have to see how this thing ends.
Yeah, we will.
Well, congratulations.
Are you nervous?
Nah, I mean, I'll play for another day. That's all I can ask for.
Right. You didn't. You're not for sure.
I haven't lost yet. Week. No. So
so how does it work?
It goes to a tiebreaker between the two of them next week.
The two of them,
the Ghost and Paul.
Yeah, not hockey.
No, you don't want to play for that though.
No, I don't want to. I just want to.
You are guaranteed to lose the tiebreaker.
Well, yeah.
So let's.
And then my gal will be mad because I'll just pace all Christmas Day and Christmas Eve. Anyhow, with the Vikings losing, man. There are a lot of question marks all over this team, staff-wise, everything, coaching-wise, player-wise. There's a lot of things that may need to change with this squad. They have a stud in Justin Jefferson. They have a stud with Dalvin Cook. Let's say this team finishes 6-10 and has, I don't know where that would get you, the 14th pick, the 12th pick, something like that. Do you go quarterback? Are we back at that? Or do you maybe take the best player available that maybe is an offensive lineman? There are a lot of those. Alex Leatherwood, the left tackle from Alabama, is a stud. It doesn't help with Tyreek Hill on the sideline. But
Vikings currently selecting 14th.
Yeah, you get a quarterback with that, right?
You could. You're probably looking at the 3rd quarterback or so, 3rd or 4th quarterback. I'm off the quarterback bandwagon, though. I think Kirk can do the job if you protect him. You need to protect him. I mean, this has been the problem with the Minnesota Vikings. Not saying that Christian Ponder or Teddy Bridgewater or Sam Bradford or Case Keenum or any of these guys were the long-term permanent answer, but in every one of those situations, you had a liability on the offensive line, and they need to shore that up. So I'm all in on offensive line in the first 2 or 3 rounds. I mean, you need defensive line too. So offensive and defensive line in the first, let's call it 4 rounds. I don't want to get a quarterback. I don't want any more wide receivers. We don't need a running back. No, we need quarterbacks, but we have a lot of needs on this team. But I think that the lines need to be fixed, and you just need to do it now.
Because you got a right tackle in Brian O'Neill. Bradbury has played well.
Right.
Ezra Cleveland playing basically out of position at right guard has played well.
Riley Reef has played well, but he probably isn't the happiest with how he got treated.
And he'll be gone, right, Nordo?
Well, he's going to get, I think, the same way that it was going into this year, he'd need to be restructured because he's going to make $10, $12 million.
So he's under, okay, he has one more year. Perfect.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
I mean, defensively, you're going to get Michael Pierce.
Right.
You're going to have Daniil Hunter, assumedly.
Right. Yeah. So maybe you don't need to draft on that side.
You're going to have Kendricks and Barr back.
Yeah. Good point.
Kendricks now out 3 games, and we haven't heard a peep, which tells me this calf thing.
Yeah.
I mean, if he plays again this year, that would be, I guess, a pleasant surprise. Although
only way he plays is if they beat the Saints and they have a chance at the playoffs.
Yeah.
Well, unless the injury is significant enough.
But
right.
Let me ask you this, and I don't expect you, by the way, why, Charch always comes on these airwaves and talks about when it's draft time to just take a quarterback regardless of your position.
Yeah, but he's dead right, and the team needs to draft one within the first 2 rounds.
He is, but look at what Jalen Hurts has done. He's run for 56 yards and a touchdown. He's thrown 3 touchdowns and 241 yards. Now, had I taken DeAndre Hopkins on Friday, he's 169 yards and a touchdown. So
that game's still tied.
Yeah, no, they just went ahead.
Yeah, Creasel's just smacking me with Jalen Hurts in our fantasy league.
Yeah, but that's the thing though. You should always possibly take a quarterback.
Yeah, and I say in the first 2 rounds. Well, I'm pretty sure the Vikings don't have a 2nd round pick right now, so they'll have a couple of third rounders. So that kind of
you got 15 total picks or something, right?
Yeah, I don't know. We love these 7th round picks. We just love stacking the back end of the draft.
The other thing too, and I don't know it offhand, and I should, but the whole Unique Ngakoue thing is if he makes the Pro Bowl with Baltimore, it goes to what, like a 4? It doesn't matter. He has, and I don't know what he did today, but he has 1 sack since going
he
to
got
Baltimore
a sack today.
So then he's got 2.
Did see that.
Well, what I'm looking at though, moving forward, I think what we see is that this Vikings defense has a significant depth issue.
Mm-hmm.
Now but then again, that'll look much better a year from now if all the right names are healthy. And, do they make a decision on Barr given how much he's compensated and all of those things? Who knows? But let's just say all those healthy guys are back and you get Dantzler and you have Gladney now with a year under their belts. I thought both of them have grown over the course of this season quite well, considering all the circumstances. I can roll with those guys at the corner spots. Harry's north of 30. And he's still really, really good. That's I'm not an indictment of Harry, but Anthony Harris,
has
had
he's
weird.
Gone. He played so bad today.
He's had a weird bad year.
But today was horrid.
And so, if he's not back, then you just start adding it up. So safety, O-line is always a talker with this team, unfortunately. So feel free to identify a good one this time, guys. So that's in the mix. If they go O-line in the first round, that would make sense. Right. We have been exploited over and over again with the undersized nature of things. If they're going to roll with Kirk, which financially, if they don't cut him by the 3rd or 4th day of the league year, his salary for 2022 is guaranteed. So that'll answer that question right away. So if they're going to roll with Kirk, which you can win games with, then they do need to protect him, and because he is imperfect and needs a lot of good things around him happening. So. But O-line would be, I'm not as concerned about the defense as bad as they've been this year, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I still think because as cool as these numbers are with what Justin's doing and in the red zone, how about Adam Thielen losing his shoe?
Right.
And then they're rushing like a triage unit on the sideline trying to tie it.
Missed 2 plays.
I think he's got 12 red zone touchdowns this year, and he missed a 2nd and 3rd down play because of his freaking shoe. And I think we had to kick a field goal that time. So, changing, we have some of the right answers at the skill spots, a lot to improve on to improve the consistency of that. But for me, I think the defense plugging potentially 4 to 5 healthy bodies back in the mix, the defense could return not to 2017 All-Pro Elite historical, but could prove to be in a situation where they're not allowing Mitchell Trubisky and David Montgomery to do what they did today.
Yep. We'll come back. We'll go around the league. We'll update you on some great afternoon games that are happening. The Kansas City Chiefs lead 21-15 over the New Orleans Saints. This is a great game. There's a great game going on down in Arizona. And the upset of the day, the Jets 23, the LA Rams 20. We'll come back after this. The Fan.
A new year means a new attitude, because it's not if you're going to date again, it's when. The professional matchmakers at It's Just Lunch know what it takes to bring the right people together, and nothing gives you a new outlook in a new year like a new relationship. The days of putting your life on hold are over. Visit itsjustlunchtwincities.com or call 612-355-2727 right now and make connection your resolution. It's Just Lunch. Connection awaits with guaranteed dates.
If I'm not commuting anymore, where do I really want to live?
While you handle life's questions, Merrill Guided Investing helps you manage your portfolio and invest for your next move with the option to work with an advisor at a low cost and minimum. Merrill, a Bank of America company. Visit merrilledge.com/investing goals to get started today.
Investing involves risk. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated, both a registered broker-dealer and investment advisor, member SIPC. Investment products are not FDIC insured or not bank guaranteed and may lose value.
Hey, it's AJ here with Nordo to tell you about our friends at Profile by Sanford.
Absolutely, AJ. These are difficult times, but one thing I'm thankful for this year is Profile's weight loss program. It's so easy to follow, the food's delicious, and the results speak for themselves.
Yeah, man, I couldn't agree more. Thanks to Profile, I feel great and look better than I have in years.
You do look great, and it's a great time to say good riddance to 2020 and start the new year off right, and Profile can help.
Profile has 14 Minnesota locations. Go to profileplan.com and tell them that AJ and Nordo sent you. That's profileplan.com.
When the unexpected comes calling, bounce forward with Comcast Business. Bounce forward fast with internet speeds up to a gig. And bounce forward with the flexibility to update your bandwidth in just a few clicks. Get started with a reliable internet and voice solution from Comcast Business, starting at $64.90 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Call or go online today. Restrictions apply. New customers only with 35 megabits per second service and 1 voice line. Early termination fee applies. Equipment installation taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Call for details.
Switch your checking account over to Truestone Financial and start spending more of your money on what matters to you. Truestone Financial's fee-free value checking account has no monthly maintenance fee, and there's no minimum balance requirement. Plus, it's easy to manage your money with mobile banking. Truestone has tap-to-pay debit cards for quick and highly secure checkouts. You'll have access to more than 30,000 surcharge-free ATMs nationwide and, free coin counting. Have you been thinking about making the switch to a credit union? Now's the time. Switch to Truestone and enjoy great rates, best-in-class service, and simple financial tools so you can make the most of your money. Open your fee-free checking account today at any Truestone location or visit tellmemoredan.com. Truestone Financial is your neighborhood credit union.
$25 minimum opening balance. Membership open to Twin Cities and St. Cloud residents. Insured by NCUA.
We made USAA insurance for veterans like Liz and Mike, an Army family who's always at the ready. So when Liz's ultrasound showed twins, hold on, 2 babies? They didn't panic. They acted fast and got a bigger car for their soon-to-be bigger family. After shopping around for auto insurance, they knew USAA was the way to go. Our agents quickly understood their needs and made it simple to get coverage on their new car. They even found Liz and Mike some savings to keep it all within budget.
That was the easy part.
USAA insurance is made the way Liz and Mike need it. Easy. So they can save for whatever surprise comes next. Explore all the ways we're helping our members save. Get a quote today at USAA.com/auto. USAA. What you're made of, we're made for. Ability to receive a quote depends on membership eligibility. Membership eligibility and product restrictions apply and are subject to change. USAA means United Services Automobile Association and its affiliates, San Antonio, Texas.
Support your local businesses with us.
Please.
It's more important now than ever.
FM 100.3 KFAN, The Fan.
Your home for all things purple.
Caught! Yes!
FM 100.3 KFAN, The Fan.
Here we go. 3rd down from the Bears 33, 33-27 Chicago. 3 members of the Bears right next to the end zone. Kirk takes the snap. He'll fire into the end zone for Thielen, and it bounces around, and the Bears have intercepted it, or it's incomplete. No, it's a Chicago Bears interception, and the interception secured by veteran McManus.
Your Minnesota Vikings lose 33-27. Kirk Cousins threw 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Dalvin Cook ran for 132 and a touchdown. That kid is extremely well. So, extremely good.
Extremely well.
Yeah, he's probably extremely well currently.
I mean, he's healthy. Yeah. He's feeling great.
Yeah. Anyhow, we saw in the Saints game, Cam Jordan threw a punch at an offensive lineman and got disqualified. And that he's not out for like the first half of the second of our game, is he?
No.
That's only a college thing.
If he'll probably be fined for it.
Yeah.
Was the punch egregious? Like
I wouldn't call it. I think you could have hidden it as a fight in the trenches.
So I mean, if he's like taking his helmet off and swinging it at people, then he's going to be suspended.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he'll be fined and he'll be ready to roll Friday.
All right, let's go around the league. You guys ready? How about this? Tampa Bay was down a ton to Atlanta. They scored 21 in the third quarter to win 31-27. Brady 390 and 2 touchdowns. Leonard Fournette ran for 2. The Buccaneers are 9-5. The Falcons are 4-10. Ugh, hideous.
I think Antonio Brown had his first great game.
Yeah, he had a touchdown.
Yeah, too.
He had the game-winning touchdown.
Yeah, he did. Cowboys 41. 49ers 33. Tony Pollard ran for 2 touchdowns and 69 yards. Man, that's a pillow fight. Both those teams are 5-9. Both super disappointing seasons for those squads.
Yeah, and they only have 1 fewer win than we do.
I know.
So.
Right. How about that?
Everything you just said sounded like the Vikings-Bears game. That's a pillow fight.
I mean, it's funny when we go through these games. Remember earlier in the season, it was, and it's still in vogue, I'm sure, like the NFC East. The NFC East is terrible. You couldn't believe how bad the NFC East is. A team with like 6 wins is going to win the division and play a playoff game. We'd be begging to be competing in the NFC East right now. That's where
we would.
Like we up here in Minnesota, we can't make those judgments.
No.
Our team is just like those other teams right now. We're injured, we're inadequate, and we're searching for answers, and we're not finding them on a weekly basis.
No, we are not. And it's just every time you think they have some kind of momentum, they fall apart. And when they had all the momentum they needed, and we thought they could get themselves kind of crawl up these playoff rankings, they lose to the Cowboys. So
and as a matter of fact, you mentioned that it is indeed Tony Pollard, who in some ways, when we look back at the 2020 season, we're like, how in the hell if we could have found one more win somewhere. Well, I got a couple for you. Run right instead of left if you're Alexander Madison in Seattle.
Right. How about that?
Chris Jones, feel free to
I
attempt.
forgot about that.
I mean, just every single one of these games has come down to, from the Vikings just listlessly trying to get on the field and come back after Gostkowski kicked 6 field goals against you. The Seattle game, obviously, the game-winning drive that they ran, Cam Dantzler, what are you doing? It feels like every single one of these games this year. Oh, how good was that play?
That was a great play. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You have.
It was a pretty bad throw too,
but still, he had to make. It was a super athletic play.
He had to make a great play on a typical Trubisky bad throw. But I like guys like that coming along. Those are things I'll take from the 2020 moving forward, regardless of what else happens, and just say it's cool to see that Cam Dantzler, I think, can play in this league. Cool to see that I think Jeff Gladney can play in this league. Those are. They're not silver linings because this just has been awful at times, but those are positive things that I might take with me.
Titans 46, Lions 25. Tannehill threw for 3 touchdowns. Derrick Henry ran for 147 and a touchdown.
I think Tannehill ran for 2 as well.
Did he really?
Pretty sure he did.
The Titans are so good,
but then they'll just lay an egg.
Yeah, they've had some floppability.
They're really good, but yeah, there's just a weird. Sometimes it just doesn't work. That might have been before AJ Brown was back. I can't remember, but yeah, they have some weirdness.
But they're 10-4, and they're going to go to the playoffs.
Right? Yeah, they are.
That's the thing with the AFC too. Is I think you need 10 wins or 11 wins, even with that extra wild card to get into it. Like the Ravens, who won that one the other night, they kind of need to win out just to sniff a wild card.
Yeah. Colts 27, Texans 20. The Texans are just hideous.
Yeah,
they're 4-10. Their first overall pick goes
to the Vikings beat them.
That's not my guy. Their first overall pick goes to Miami, so that's bad. And the Colts, man, they just chug along. Jonathan Taylor has kind of come on the last half of this season. He's a stud.
He's been really good.
But how about this, man? Dolphins 22, the Patriots 12. They are knocked out of the playoffs for the first time since, was it the Matt Castle year?
2008.
Wow. That's, incredible. They can only finish at 500 if they win out, but they got to play the Bills. No, that Bills team,
they're good.
Holy smokes, is that Bills team good? I was going to say, don't hand it off to him there and get it like a -40. That's not what I need. I just need a 3-yard pass. If the Chiefs called me and said, "Meets us, we will throw a 4-yard pass to Tyreek Hill for $500," I would Venmo the Chiefs $500.
Just so that you didn't potentially have to pay $500 to be on a billboard?
Right. What if that ends up being more expensive than the billboard?
See, I don't think things out. Where were we? Oh, yeah. The Seahawks, 20-15. That Washington team has an absolute quarterback issue, but my God, are they good defensively?
Their defense is
so good.
Yeah, they got and they'd be even better. They lost, maybe you guys don't remember him. His name's Matt Ioannidis, and just kind of a no-namer that harassed Kirk a little bit last year. And that was a Thursday game. I forget when we played Washington, but that defensive front's incredible. I mean, Deron Payne's good. Jonathan Allen,
they're all
really
first
turned
top
out.
high-end first-round picks.
Yeah, and
Right.
obviously the rookie.
Yeah, he's a stud, man.
Chase Young's awesome.
I mean, here, let's look at the box.
I think we're seeing too that Seattle might not be as good as they looked earlier in the season.
Russell Wilson
That's possible.
Threw for 121 against this team.
Yeah.
How about this stat though? Now they're 9-2.
And if you were relying on DK Metcalf to help you out in a fantasy playoff game, you didn't get much.
Fantasy Charge Challenge.
No, that's good. I need that.
Mahomes just fumbled.
I need that because I need them to score. So the
sack, fumble, Saints recover.
Perfect.
Deep.
Perfect. I need that.
Chiefs territory.
Because I need the Saints to score. And put
a lot of time left in this game, Paul.
There is. I need 3 yards. I'm going to sit here because there's no way Kelly wants me to come back and sit there with her because she's already tired of how into this I've been all weekend. But here we go. The Vikings take on the Saints on Friday.
Christmas Day.
Christmas Day. What do we expect?
I don't know. We got to watch the rest of this game to figure out how we can tackle this defense and at this point play for some pride, I guess.
Yeah, I think.
But it's a Superdome. We're going to play hard.
Yeah, they always.
Let's play spoiler. Why not?
Yeah, let's see what we can. The Packers are going to want us to win. So thank you to AJ. Thank you to Blake. Thank you to everybody. We are back 2 weeks from today. The Vikings play on Christmas Day. Pre-game at 1:30. Game kickoff at 3:30. We'll be back 2 weeks from Sunday. Bye.
Merry Christmas, everybody.